Hey there, English learners. Welcome back to English Flow. I'm Hope.
And I'm Mark. But before we dive in, let me ask you something.
Have you ever walked out of a job interview knowing you were qualified, but feeling like something went terribly wrong the moment you opened your mouth?
Well, there are 7 specific English mistakes that cost qualified candidates their dream jobs every single day. And 90% of English learners make at least 3 of them without even realizing it.
Picture this: you've spent weeks preparing for this interview. Your resume is perfect, your qualifications are solid, you've researched the company inside and out. You walk into that conference room feeling confident. But then the interviewer asks their first question, and suddenly you're stumbling over words, using phrases that make you sound unprofessional, and watching their enthusiasm fade with every sentence you speak.
This isn't about your technical skills or your experience. You could be the perfect candidate for the job, but if you make these 7 critical English mistakes, you'll never get the chance to prove it. The harsh reality? Hiring managers make decisions about your communication skills within the first few minutes of meeting you.
Today we're going to expose these career-killing mistakes and transform you into someone who doesn't just survive job interviews, but dominates them. We'll teach you the exact words, phrases, and communication strategies that make hiring managers think, this person belongs on our team.
By the end of this episode, you'll know how to introduce yourself powerfully, answer difficult questions confidently, ask impressive questions, and handle any curveball they throw at you. Most importantly, you'll never again leave an interview wondering if your English cost you the opportunity.
Ready to discover what's been sabotaging your interviews? Let's begin.
Let's start with job interview mistake number 1, and this one kills more opportunities than any other.
Mistake number 1. Weak self-introductions that immediately lower expectations.
When an interviewer says, "Tell me about yourself," most English learners panic and either give their entire life story or provide a boring list of facts. But here's what's really happening. This question is your chance to control the entire interview narrative, and most people blow it in the first 30 seconds.
What weak candidates say: my name is Maria. I am from Brazil. I have 5 years experience in marketing. I like this company very much. I want to work here because it is good opportunity for me.
What strong candidates say, "I'm a digital marketing specialist who spent the last 5 years helping tech startups increase their online revenue by an average of 40%. I'm particularly passionate about using data analytics to create targeted campaigns that actually convert," which is exactly what drew me to this role at your company.
The difference is massive. The first version sounds like someone reading from a script. The second sounds like someone who belongs in the room.
Let's practice powerful self-introductions.
So tell me about yourself.
I'm a software engineer with 6 years of experience building scalable web applications for fintech companies. I specialize in turning complex financial data into user-friendly interfaces that non-technical teams can actually use. What excites me about this position is the opportunity to bring that same approach to your customer-facing products.
That's impressive. What drew you to our company specifically?
Your recent product launch caught my attention because you solved the exact problem I've been working on in my current role: making financial tools accessible to everyday users. I'd love to contribute to that mission while helping you scale to the next level.
See how that positions the candidate as someone who understands the business, not just someone who needs a job?
Here's the formula for powerful self-introductions: role plus results plus relevance. Start with what you do, add a specific achievement, then connect it directly to why you're sitting in that room.
Mistake number 2. Using apologetic language that undermines your authority.
English learners often use phrases that sound polite in other languages, but make them appear weak and unconfident in English job interviews.
What undermines you? I think maybe I could help. I'm not sure, but perhaps. Sorry, but I believe. I hope I can contribute. Maybe I'm wrong, but.
What shows confidence? I would approach this by, "In my experience, I've successfully handled this by. My recommendation would be, I'm confident that."
The problem with apologetic language is that it makes interviewers question your abilities before you even demonstrate them.
Let's practice confident language.
How would you handle a difficult client situation?
In my experience, Difficult clients usually become difficult when they feel unheard. I would start by actively listening to understand their specific concerns. Then I'd present a clear action plan with timelines. For example, at my previous company, I turned our most challenging client into our biggest advocate by implementing this approach.
Compare that to, I think maybe I could try to listen to them and hopefully find a solution, if that makes sense.
The first response positions you as someone who solves problems. The second makes the interviewer wonder if you can handle pressure.
Mistake number 3. Answering, what's your biggest weakness? Like it's a trap.
This question destroys English learners because they either give fake weaknesses that sound rehearsed or real weaknesses that eliminate them from consideration.
Terrible answers. I'm a perfectionist. I work too hard. I care too much. I don't have any weaknesses. My English isn't perfect. And
the key is choosing a real weakness that's not central to the job, then showing how you're actively improving it.
Smart approach. Pick a skill that's genuine but fixable. Explain what you're doing about it and show progress.
Let's practice this strategically.
What would you say is your biggest weakness?
I've always been more comfortable with written communication than public speaking. Early in my career, I realized this was limiting my impact, so I joined Toastmasters and started volunteering to present at team meetings. I'm still not the most natural public speaker, but I can now confidently present to executive teams, and I actually enjoy the challenge.
That shows self-awareness, initiative, and growth. It also positions public speaking as something you can do, just not your strongest skill.
Another example. I used to struggle with delegation because I wanted to ensure everything met my standards. I've been working with a mentor to develop my coaching skills so I can maintain quality while empowering my team. It's made me a better leader and actually improved our team's overall performance.
Mistake number 4, not preparing intelligent questions that show strategic thinking.
When interviewers ask, "Do you have any questions for us?" most English learners either say, "No, you covered everything," or ask basic questions they could have Googled.
Weak questions. What are the working hours? How much vacation time do I get? When will I hear back? What does your company do?
Questions that impress. Strategic questions about the role, company challenges, team dynamics, and growth opportunities.
Let's practice impressive question asking.
Do you have any questions for us?
I do. I noticed in your recent quarterly report that you're expanding into the Asian market. How does this role contribute to that expansion, and what would success look like in the first 6 months?
That's a great question. We're looking for someone who can help us adapt our current products for different cultural preferences.
Another strong approach. What are the biggest challenges facing this team right now, and how would this role help address them?
Or, I read about your company's commitment to sustainability. How does this department contribute to those goals? And are there opportunities to expand that impact?
These questions show you've done research, you think strategically, and you're interested in contributing, not just collecting a paycheck.
Mistake number 5, failing to tell compelling stories that prove your value.
When interviewers ask behavioral questions like, "Tell me about a time when," but most English learners give vague, general answers instead of specific stories that demonstrate their skills.
Weak response. I am good at problem solving. I always try to find solutions when there are problems at work.
Strong response using the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result.
Let's practice storytelling that sells.
Tell me about a time you had to solve a complex problem.
Last year, our biggest client threatened to leave because our software kept crashing during their peak hours. The situation was critical. We could lose 30% of our revenue. My task was to identify the root cause and implement a solution within 48 hours. I assembled a cross-functional team, we discovered the issue was in our database optimization, and I personally worked through the weekend to rebuild the query structure. The result was that we not only saved the client, but our system performance improved by 60% overall, and that client actually increased their contract by 50% the following quarter.
That story proves problem-solving skills, leadership, technical ability, client focus, and results delivery all in one answer.
Mistake number 6, poor salary negotiation language that costs you thousands.
English learners often approach salary discussions with language that immediately puts them at a disadvantage.
Weak approach: I will accept whatever you offer. I just need a job. I'm flexible with salary. I don't know what's normal here.
Strong approach: research-based, confident, but collaborative language.
Let's practice professional salary discussions.
What are your salary expectations?
Based on my research of similar roles in this market and my 6 years of relevant experience, I'm looking for something in the range of $75,000 to $85,000. However, I'm also interested in the complete compensation package, including growth opportunities and benefits. What range did you have in mind for this position?
This shows you've done homework, you know your value, but you're open to discussion.
If they offer below your range, I appreciate the offer. The role is exactly what I'm looking for, and I'm excited about the opportunity. Is there flexibility in the base salary, or are there other components of the package we could discuss?
Mistake number 7: terrible interview endings that waste all your hard work.
How you end an interview often determines whether you get the job, but most English learners either end weakly or too aggressively.
Weak endings? Thank you. I hope to hear from you. I think I did okay. Do you have any concerns about my qualifications? When will you make a decision?
Strong endings: reinforce your interest, summarize your value, and establish next steps.
Let's practice powerful interview closings.
Well, that's all the questions I have. Do you have anything else for us?
This conversation has reinforced my excitement about this opportunity. The challenges you've described around scaling your customer success operations are exactly what I've been solving in my current role. I'm confident I can bring immediate value to your team while contributing to your long-term growth goals. What are the next steps in your process?
That's perfect. We'll be making our decision by Friday, and we'll reach out early next week.
Excellent. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for your time today. And please let me know if you need any additional information from me.
This ending reinforces interest, confidence, and professionalism without being pushy.
Now let's talk about cultural differences in interview styles, because what works in one English-speaking country might hurt you in another.
United States. Generally more casual, expect some small talk. Enthusiasm is valued, self-promotion is expected, direct communication style.
United Kingdom, more formal. Understatement is preferred over overselling. Humor is appreciated if done well. Punctuality is crucial.
Canada. Very polite, collaborative language is important. Diversity and inclusion topics may come up, similar to US but more reserved.
Australia, casual but professional. Straightforward communication. Team fit is highly valued. Tall poppy syndrome means don't oversell yourself.
Let's practice adapting your style.
American style. I'm really excited about this opportunity and confident I can exceed your expectations.
British style. I'm quite keen on this role and believe I'd be able to contribute meaningfully to your objectives.
Canadian style. I'm very interested in this position and would welcome the opportunity to contribute to your team's success.
Australian style. This role looks like a great fit, and I reckon I could add real value to what you're doing here.
Same message, different cultural packaging.
Now, let's address some common interview emergencies and how to handle them like a professional.
When you don't know the answer, that's not something I've encountered directly, but my approach would be to thinking process. Could you tell me more about how this situation typically comes up in this role?
When you misspeak, let me rephrase that more clearly. Don't apologize extensively, just correct and move on.
When the interviewer seems unengaged, I want to make sure I'm giving you the information that's most relevant. Is there a particular aspect of my background you'd like me to focus on?
When you realize you gave a poor answer, actually, let me give you a better example of that. It's okay to course correct.
Let's practice handling difficult moments.
I notice you have a gap in your employment here. Can you explain that?
Absolutely. I took 6 months to complete an intensive certification program in data analytics while also caring for a family member who was ill. I used that time strategically to upgrade my skills, which is actually what led me to this opportunity. I'm now certified in Python and SQL, and I'm ready to apply these new skills in a role like this.
Honest, strategic, and positive. That's how you handle potentially problematic questions.
Here's something crucial that most English courses never teach: interview energy and presence.
Your words matter, but your energy often matters more. English learners sometimes focus so much on getting the words right that they forget to bring the enthusiasm and presence that hiring managers actually want to see.
Energy killers: monotone voice, reading from notes, avoiding eye contact, fidgeting, rushed speech.
Energy boosters: varied tone, natural gestures, appropriate eye contact, confident posture, thoughtful pacing.
Practice this. Record yourself answering interview questions. You might be surprised by how different you sound than you think.
Now let's talk about follow-up communication, because this is where many candidates lose opportunities they've already earned.
Within 24 hours, send a thank you email that reinforces your interest and adds value.
Weak follow-up: thank you for your time yesterday. I hope to hear from you soon.
Strong follow-up: thank you for taking the time to discuss the marketing manager position with me yesterday. Our conversation about your expansion into the European market was particularly exciting. It's exactly the kind of challenge I thrive on. I've attached a brief analysis of marketing trends in that region that might be useful for your planning. I'm very interested in this opportunity and look forward to the next steps.
This approach shows professionalism, reinforces your interest, and provides additional value.
If you don't hear back, one polite follow-up after their stated timeline is appropriate.
I wanted to follow up on our interview from last week. I remain very interested in the position and would welcome any updates you might have on your decision timeline. Please let me know if you need any additional information from me.
If you get rejected, a gracious response keeps doors open for future opportunities.
Thank you for letting me know. While I'm disappointed, I really enjoyed learning about your company and the role. I hope you'll keep me in mind for future opportunities that might be a fit. Now let's practice some complete interview scenarios from start to finish, because putting everything together is where you truly shine.
Scenario 1, the opening handshake and small talk.
Good morning, I'm Sarah, the hiring manager. Thanks for coming in today.
Good morning, Sarah. I'm Alex. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. I really enjoyed reading about your company's recent expansion into sustainable technology.
Please have a seat. Can I get you some water or coffee?
Water would be great, thank you. This is a beautiful office space. I love how much natural light you have.
Thank you. We actually designed it to promote collaboration and creativity. So, how was your commute this morning?
Scenario 2, handling the salary negotiation conversation.
Based on your experience and our budget for this role, we're prepared to offer $68,000 annually.
I appreciate the offer, and I'm very excited about this opportunity. Based on my research and the value I can bring to this role, I was expecting something closer to $75,000. Is there flexibility in the base salary, or are there other aspects of the compensation package we could discuss?
Let me see what I can do. The salary range does have some flexibility, and we also offer excellent benefits, including professional development opportunities.
That sounds promising. Could you tell me more about the professional development opportunities? I'm particularly interested in growing my leadership skills.
Absolutely. We provide $3,000 annually for conferences and training, plus we have an internal mentorship program.
Scenario 3, responding to a difficult behavioral question.
Tell me about a time when you had to work with someone who was very difficult to get along with.
I had a colleague who was brilliant technically, but often dismissed other people's ideas without really listening. Initially, I found this frustrating, but I realized that approaching the situation differently might help. I started scheduling one-on-one conversations with him before team meetings to understand his perspective and share mine. I discovered he felt overwhelmed by too many ideas at once and needed time to process. By giving him that space and presenting ideas more systematically, we actually became great collaborators.
That's a mature approach. How did that change affect the team dynamic?
The whole team benefited because we learned to present ideas more clearly and give everyone processing time. Our project completion rate improved by 25% that quarter.
Impressive. It sounds like you turned a challenge into a team improvement opportunity.
Scenario 4, asking strategic questions about company culture.
I noticed that your company was recently recognized as one of the best places to work. What do you think makes the culture here special?
That's a great question. I think it's our focus on growth and innovation. combined with genuine respect for work-life balance. People here are encouraged to take risks and learn from failures.
That sounds like exactly the environment where I'd thrive. How does the company support employees who want to take on stretch assignments or explore new areas?
We have a program called Innovation Fridays, where employees can spend 20% of their time on projects outside their normal responsibilities. Some of our best product improvements have come from those initiatives.
That's fascinating. Are there examples of people who've transitioned into completely different roles through that program?
Scenario 5, closing the interview with confidence and next steps.
This has been a really insightful conversation. Do you have any concerns about my ability to succeed in this role?
Actually, I'm impressed with your background and your thoughtful approach to the challenges we discussed. You seem like someone who would fit well with our team culture.
That's wonderful to hear. Based on everything we've discussed, I'm even more excited about this opportunity. The combination of technical challenges and collaborative culture is exactly what I'm looking for in my next role. What are the next steps in your process?
We're interviewing a few more candidates this week, and we plan to make our decision by Friday. You should hear from us by early next week.
Perfect. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you again for your time today, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you need any additional information from me.
Here's your homework, and this is critical for interview success.
Practice your self-introduction until it feels natural. Record yourself saying it, then listen back. Does it sound like someone you'd want to hire?
Prepare 3-star method stories that demonstrate different skills. Practice telling them until they flow naturally without sounding rehearsed.
Research 5 intelligent questions for your target companies. Make sure they show you understand the business, not just the job description.
Practice your salary discussion. Know your market value and practice expressing it confidently but collaboratively.
Most importantly, do mock interviews with someone who can give you honest feedback about your communication style, energy, and presence.
Before we finish, let's talk about why interview skills matter so much beyond just getting jobs.
Job interviews are often the highest stakes English conversations you'll have. The skills you develop for interviews: confident communication, strategic thinking, professional presence, transfer to every aspect of your career.
When you can handle job interviews well, you can handle client presentations, salary negotiations, performance reviews, and leadership conversations. You're not just learning to get a job, you're learning to advance your entire career.
And here's something encouraging. Every successful professional has bombed interviews early in their career. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't natural talent. It's learning from mistakes and continuously improving their communication skills.
So remember, those 7 mistakes we covered today: weak self-introductions, apologetic language, poor weakness answers, unprepared questions, vague stories, weak salary discussions, and terrible endings. These are what cost qualified candidates their dream jobs.
But now you know better. You have the frameworks, the language, and the strategies to walk into any interview with confidence.
Next time you're sitting across from a hiring manager, remember, you're not just someone who needs a job. You're a professional who belongs in that room, someone who can contribute value from day one.
Thanks for joining us on English Flow today. If this episode helped you identify your interview mistakes and gave you the tools to communicate like the professional you are, then we've accomplished something amazing together.
Remember, every interview is practice. Every professional conversation builds your skills. And every time you communicate with confidence, you prove that you can succeed in any English-speaking environment.
Until next time, keep the conversation flowing, keep building your professional presence, and remember, you're not just learning English, you're building the career you deserve.
Good luck in your interviews, and talk to you soon.